I didn't always know how power tested, but that rainy evening, I discovered that sometimes power isn't about wealth or beauty. It's about the hair you steal, the souls you strap, and the price you are willing to pay for it. Ngozi had always been a woman with nothing, a mother of three daughters, struggling to make ends meet on the grim streets of the city, with dreams that felt like distant stars. But on the cold, thunderstruck night, when the rain pounded the tin roof and the city seemed to hold its breath, something changed. A voice, deep and haunting, whispered into the air in the darkness of her sleep. Did you want everything, Ngozi? All you have to do is to say yes. It wasn't just any voice. It was the voice of the golden angels, beings of power who offered more than wealth. They offered destiny. And in the desperation of her broken world, Ngozi would make the fateful choice that would change her life forever. It was a rainy evening when Ngozi first realized the true depth of her power. She always knew there was more to life than the daily struggles. But tonight, as the thunder rumbled across the city and the winds howled through the narrow street, she felt a strange stirring in the pit of her stomach. A stirring that wasn't just hunger or fatigue. It was something deeper, something more dangerous. Ngozi stood by her window, watching the dark clouds gather over the city, her mind racing. She was a single mother of three, fighting tooth and nail just to keep the roof over their heads. Her late husband, Chijioke, had been her rock, a simple tailor with big dreams. They had built a life together, or so they thought, but life had a cruel way of stealing everything that mattered. Chijioke's death had been sudden, a tragic accident on a stormy night, the kind that felt like a cruel joke. He was walking home from the market, tired from a long day of work. A reckless driver had swirled through the rain, hitting him square in the chest. He was gone. Before anyone could help, the driver disappeared as though the world had swallowed him whole. And just like that, Ngozi was left alone, a widow with three mouths to feed and no way to do. She had tried to keep the business afloat, tried to sew clothes like Chijioke had taught her, but it was never the same. The money ran out, the bills piled up. Her daughters, Nkem, Ifeoma, and Chidema, grew thinner each day, their stomachs grumbling as she prayed for something, anything to change the situation. She had no one to turn to. Her friends had their own families to worry about. Her neighbors offered kind words, but no real help. Ngozi had become a woman who was invisible in her own life. One night, after a particular hard day, Ngozi sat alone in her small, dimly light room. The house was quiet, save for the sound of the rain against the tiny roof. Then closed her eyes and whispered a prayer, but it felt empty, like the words didn't reach anyone. That's when it appeared. The dream. It wasn't just any dream. It was vague or fleeting. It was vivid, intense, and felt too real to be mere fantasy. A woman appeared before her, tall, striking, and draped in gold. Her eyes gleamed like molten metals, her hair flowing in waves of light, as if the very essence of the sun itself had been captured in her lock. She smiled, but the smile never reached her eyes. You have suffered enough, Ngozi, the woman said, her voice like silk and fire. We know what you seek, but are you actually willing to pay the price? Ngozi felt a shiver crawl up her spine. She wanted to speak, but no word came. She just nodded, her eyes fixed on stranger's gaze. What price are you talking about? She asked, her voice barely a whisper. The woman's smile grew colder, sharper. Your soul, your future, your destiny. We will take them from you, and in return, we will give you everything that you have ever prayed for. I mean everything. The word echoed in Ngozi's mind, reverberating through her very core. The promise of wealth, of power, of a future where her daughters would never know hunger or pain. Could it be real? Could she have everything she had ever dreamed of? She thought to herself. She was desperate. She had nothing left to lose. Yes, Ngozi whispered. Yes, do it, I will do it. When she awoke, the world felt different. The weight of her worries seemed lighter, the pain in her heart dimming, as if something or someone had lifted it off her shoulders. She was no longer just Ngozi, she was Lady Gold, a name that would soon be whispered with awe and fear in the saloons and street corners of the city. The Golden Angels, as they called themselves, took her in. They taught her the art of taking what wasn't hers, but that which others couldn't even understand they had lost. Hair, a simple thing, but to them, hair was power, hair was destiny, hair was everything. Lady Gold didn't need to kill for power. She was told she didn't need to sacrifice in the traditional sense. All she had to do was take from those who visited her salon. Their hair, their beauty, their wealth. She would steal it all, and in return, she would weave it into something greater, something more powerful. It was subtle, it was quiet, but with every strand of hair she cut, she knew she was taking a piece of them, a piece they would never get back. Her first client after her transformation was Chioma, a woman who came in with thick dark hair and air of sadness that Lady Gold couldn't quite place. Chioma sat in the chair, nervously looking around. I want something different, something no one else has, very unique. Lady Gold smiled, feeling the power of the Golden Angel stirring within her. I'll make it for you, Chioma. But first, I need you to trust me. Let me take some of your hair, just a little, and I will give you something more than you ever dreamt of. Chioma hesitated, but there was a faint, almost invisible nod of agreement. Lady Gold began to cut. As her scissors slipped through the hair, she felt a strange surge of energy. The air around her seemed to pulse with a dark, ethereal light. The air in her hands glowed for a moment, as though it were alive. And in that instant, Lady Gold knew that this was only the beginning. When Chioma left, she didn't pay for the wig, and she never returned. But the changes in Lady Gold's life were immediate. Her shop flourished. Women came from every corner of the city, desperate for the wigs that no one else had. And with every wig she sold, her power grew. But with the power came whispers, whispers in her dreams, whispers that reminded her that everything came at a price. The first sign that something was wrong came when Lady Gold's customers began to change. It was subtle at first. One woman came in, her hair once thick and shining. But after her visit, it looked lifeless, dry, brittle, as if he had been drained of its vitality. Another woman, a wealthy entrepreneur named Madame Uju, began to lose her charm, her beauty fading day by day, though she never noticed it. Madam, the way you are glowing these days, her friends would say, their faces full of praise, but there was no glow, just the reflection of something stolen. Lady Gold watched, feeling a strange thrill. The wigs she created, wigs that no one else had, wigs that shone with an ethereal glow, were receiving constant admiration. Each compliment fueled her pride. But there was something darker beneath the surface. The more she worked her magic, the more she noticed that her clients were sleeping. Their fortunes changed. Their lives seemed to take a sharp turn for the worse. Her customers came to her wearing smiles, their eyes glaring with excitement. But within weeks, their lives began to unravel. Chioma, the woman whose hair Lady Gold had taken first, had started as a quiet but confident woman. After receiving one of the Lady Gold's wig, she was unrecognizable. Her skin radiated with new glow. Her career as an architect started booming, and she began soaring, securing high-profile projects. But 1 month after her visit, Chioma had a miscarriage. Ha! Chioma, what happened to you? Her friend Amara asked one morning as they met for coffee. You've been glowing lately. What's your secret? Chioma smiled, brushing a hand over her wig. This hair is from Lady Gold. It's magic. I swear. She gave me the best wig I've ever owned. Since then, everything has been perfect. But the very next week, tragedy struck. Chioma's health began to deteriorate. Her hair, which had once been thick and dark, began to fall off faster than she could keep up with. The miscarriage was only the beginning. In the span of a few weeks, her career took a nosedive. Clients started cancelling her contract, and the once promising architect found herself scrabbling by with a little to show for it. Let's talk about Madam Uju, a high-flying businesswoman had come to Lady Gold asking a makeover. She was the picture of success. Her wealth displayed in the clothes she wore and the car she drove. After getting her wig, she felt even more powerful, more invisible. Oh, Lady Gold, you've made me look like a queen, Madam Uju had exclaimed as she twirled in front of the mirror, her new wig glaring under the lights. No one will be able to resist me this time. This hair is a game changer for me. But the next week, she couldn't make the same confident statement. At a major business meeting, Madam Uju fumbled over her speech, forgetting vital details. Stuttering, people began to question her competence, and her investors started pulling out. Her wealth began to dwindle, but worse yet, her beauty faded like sharp corner. Slowly, she became unrecognizable. Her friends commented on how tired she looked, and no one could seem to put their finger on it. Her confidence, once her strongest asset, had evaporated. You are looking different, Madam Uju, one of her closest friends said. The words laced with concerns. Are you sure you are okay? Madam Uju shook her head, trying to cover up the cracks. I'm fine, just a little stressed. Don't worry about me. But deep inside, she knew something had gone horribly wrong. Her wealth was disappearing, and so was her beauty, her confidence, everything she had built her life on. Let's even look at how this woman lost everything. Is it Madam Simi, a woman who once ran a successful nightclub that attracted the city's elite? She had come to Lady Gold looking for the perfect wig to match her glamorous persona. I need something that will make everyone notice me, Madam Simi had said with a tweak, sitting down in Lady Gold's chair. My nightclub has been on fire lately, but I need something more. I need to shine. Lady Gold, ever eager to please, crafted the perfect wig for her. But within days of wearing it, Madam Simi's fortune flipped. She began losing clients, her business declining, and when her nightclub was robbed one fateful night, the police report claiming it was an inside job, but no one had a clear explanation. The once flourishing nightclub owner went through having a full house every weekend to closing her doors for good. She tried to reclaim the lost patrons, tried to rebuild her reputation, but it was all in vain. Her beauty faded too, her features growing gaunt, as though the very soul had been drained from her body. What happened, Simi? Her friends Bola asked after weeks of no contact. Your hair, you look different. Have you been sleeping well? I don't know, Madam Simi said softly, her hand going to the wig she had once loved. It's like I've lost everything. My business, my friends. I don't know who I am anymore. The hair wasn't just hair anymore. Lady Gold had started to realize the true cost of what she was taking. The whispers around her salon grew louder. Her clients began to gossip, unknowingly pointing to the strange power her wig seemed to carry. Ever since I wore Lady Gold's wig, my husband started getting these weird promotions. One woman would say, yes, eyes wide, almost as if the promotion wasn't a good thing. But then we lost our house. Funny how that happened right after I wore that wig. I'm telling you, another woman exclaimed, voice trembling. The moment I wore that hair, I couldn't stop buying. It was like I couldn't control myself. I spent so much money, ended up owing everyone, and my beauty, my glow is even gone. One of the ladies gold regular customers even confide in her, laughing nervously. I thought I was a star with this new hair, but now I can't even get a call back from anyone. People I have known for years won't even look at me anymore. My career is tanking. Lady Gold, what's happening? I really need to understand. Lady Gold watched with both pride and growing unease. As she continued to gather more hair, the stories grew darker. The more she took from others, the more she felt the grip of the golden angels tightening around her, pulling her deeper into their world. The promises they had made her were becoming more desperate, their whispers more demanding. But despite the consequences she saw playing out before her eyes, Lady Gold couldn't stop. The test of power, of being adored, of having wealth and beauty, was too intoxicating. As the praise continued to pour in, she pushed away the creeping feeling of guilt. After all, her clients were the ones who gave her their own hair willingly, wasn't they? The ones who wanted to be beautiful, who wanted something more, something different, something unique, something no one had ever worn. They all knew what they were giving up, didn't they? Absolutely. Let's dive into. Lady Gold had always believed that nothing could touch her. She had everything she ever wanted: wealth, beauty, power. But it all began to unravel when her daughter Nkem made a decision that would set the stage for the storm to come. It had been a simple mistake. At least that's what Lady Gold told herself. Nkem, always curious, had admired her mother's wig for weeks. Lady Gold had never allowed anyone, especially her daughters, to wear them. She had told them time and again that the wigs were special, too powerful to be worn by anyone, just anyone. But one afternoon, while Lady Gold was busy tending to new batch of wigs in her salon, Nkem snuck into her mother's room, her fingers grazing the luxurious strands. Without thinking, she took one of the wigs, a stunning golden haired creation that had been specially crafted for an important client. When Lady Gold returned home, she found Nkechi sitting on the couch, the wig resting on her shoulders head like a crown. She looked radiant, too radiant, as if the wig had given her a glow that didn't belong to her. But when she saw the way Nkem's eyes shone, a cold realization gripped Lady Gold's heart. No! What have you done? Lady Gold cried, rushing towards her daughter. Nkem looked up in surprise. Mommy, I just wanted to try it on. Mama, it's beautiful. Why can't I wear it? Lady Gold's smile raised, her thoughts spinning like the wheel of a cursed machine. The wig, made from stolen hair, wasn't just a fashion statement. It was a vessel, a conduct of someone else's destiny. And now her daughter had unknowingly worn it. Before Lady Gold could speak, disaster struck. Nkem clutched her chest, her eyes wide with panic. Mama, Mama, I feel strange. In an instant, Nkem collapsed to the floor, the wig clipping off her head as if it had a mind of its own. Lady Gold screaming for help, but it was too late. The life seemed to drain from her daughter's body, leaving her cold and lifeless. The room seemed to close in around Lady Gold. Her heart pounded in her chest, but she could hardly breathe. She had gone too far. The hair she had stolen was never meant to be used like this. And now, the golden angels, the very forces that had given her everything, were turning their backs on her. Lady Gold rushed to the small, dimly light room where the golden angels had first appeared to her. The air felt thick with energy, heavy with the weight of her desperation. She fell to her knees, pleading, her hands shaking as she reached out towards the golden altar. Please, Lady Gold begged, her voice trembling. You can fix this, right? You must fix this. This wasn't this was this but this I have made a mistake. I know I have, but I can't lose my daughter. They are the reason why I'm suffering. You gave me power, you gave me everything. Please, I'll do anything just to save her. The room remained eerily silent. No golden robed figure stepped forward. No voice echoed in the dark. Then, finally, the woman with the golden hair, the leader of the golden angels, appeared. Her eyes cold, unblinking. You've crossed a line, Lady Gold. The woman said, her voice carrying the weight of personality. You allow someone unworthy to wear the hair of the angels, and in doing so, you have broken the rules. But, but, please, my daughter, Lady Gold, please, my daughter. Lady Gold began, but the leader raised a hand, silencing her. The price for power is never without cost. The woman said, her words like eyes. We gave you everything, but you've taken too much. We cannot help you now. The coldness of her words struck Lady Gold like a slap. But she whispered desperately, I was doing this for them. My daughters, I wanted to give them a better life. Please, don't let her die. The leader's eye flickered with something like pity, but her voice remained steady, unwavering. The golden angels do not offer second chances. You must live with your choice. Lady Gold, you must pay the price. Lady Gold's heart sank, but before she could respond, the tension in the room thickened. The air seemed to vibrate as whispers filled the space. The other angels, those who had been silent until now, began to murmur among themselves. A rift had formed. I told you this would happen. What angels missed? Her golden robe rustling as she stepped forward. Her eyes narrowed with envy. She's just a newcomer. She has a saloon now, and she get the queen's attention. Can you believe that? The leader of the angel didn't respond, but the whispers continued, growing louder. Why her? Another angel asked, her voice sharp with jealousy. She doesn't deserve the power. She just came in, and within weeks, she's taken more than any of us had ever taken. How did she get to be the queen's favorite? Lady Gold, hearing these words, felt a pang of guilt and confusion. The golden angels, once a symbol of power, we are divided now. There was no unity, only bitterness. You shouldn't have made her so powerful. One of the angels spoke aloud, turning to the leader. You have given her too much too quickly. And look at the disaster she's caused. She doesn't know the price of what she's done. Lady Gold stood there, her heart raising. As the golden angels began to bicker, their voices raising in anger, the room became a battleground, a war of words between those who supported Lady Gold's rise and those who envied her meteoric success. The queen's favorite was no longer a title to be proud of. The first angel said, she did what needed to be done. She remembered our gift and she's helping us grow. You should be proud of her. Another one said, proud? She's taking everything from us, and now she can't even control the consequences of her own actions. You think this is power? The first angel that said, you are jealous. She deserves her place. She's worked for it more than any of you. She hasn't done anything except look pretty in her saloon. We all been here for centuries, and the argument spirals with accusation flying through the air. Lady Gold, still kneeling, tries to understand the words coming from the angel's mouth, but the meanings are lost in the storm of voices. It becomes clear to her now that there is no real support for her. No one is on her side. The golden angels are divided. Lady Gold felt the weight of their judgment pressing down on her, suffocating her. Her business, her power, everything she had worked for was slipping through her fingers. And as the angels began to fight, Lady Gold realized that she had lost far more than she had ever bargained for. Nketi's lifeless body still lay in her room, the light of her soul gone. taken by the very thing that had promised to give her everything. It was too late for her daughter, and now it seems it was too late for Lady Gold too. Lady Gold, weary and broken, returned to the altar where the golden angels had once offered her their power. No more pleading, no more fear. She was beyond that now. Her voice was steady and resolute. I am done, she said, her words cutting through the stillness. I've taken enough, no more. The golden angels, once alluring and seductive, now seemed like a prison. Lady Gold had no choice but to face them, to confront the price she had paid for everything. The leader of the angels, her golden robe shimmering in the dim light, stepped forward. You think you can walk away? You have claimed our gift, and now you own us. You took more than I could give, Lady Gold replied, her gaze unwavering. Now is my turn. In an instant, the room exploded in chaos. The angels, divided, began to argue, some angry, others more sympathetic to Lady Gold's struggle. The tension between them surged, and in that moment, Lady Gold realized the truth. Their power wasn't divine. It was born from greed and deception, a false promise. Lady Gold's daughter, Nkem, lay still on the floor, lifeless. The haunting echo of her ambition raged in Lady Gold's mind. This is the price you paid for power. With the room swirling around her, Lady Gold knew what she had to do. The choice was unbearable, but it was the only way left. Save her daughter's life by sacrificing her own power. Lady Gold whispered a prayer, her voice thick with emotion. As she reached out to Nkem, she offered herself up to the angels. Her soul, her very essence, was the price she was willing to pay. The angels paused, their eyes gleaming with dark interest. The leader spoke softly, her voice a mixture of admiration and malice. You are giving up everything? I already give it all anyway, Lady Gold said. The only thing I'm asking is I want my child back. In that instant, Nkem stared, her eyes fluttered open, like returning to her body. Lady Gold felt the angel's grip losing around her, but with it came the sensation of everything she had gained slipped away. Her wealth, her beauty, her power, all of it vanished in an instant, leaving her empty. As Lady Gold fell to her knees, the one glimmering golden gown she wore now looked dull, ordinary. The room was silent, the power gone. But for the first time in her life, Lady Gold felt a freedom she had known she was searching for. Lady Gold, her body weak and her spirit worn, slowly rose from the floor. The golden angels began to fade, their presence dissipating into whispers. But just as she turned to leave, a shadow fell across the door. Lady Gold, a familiar voice called from darkness. It was Chioma, the first woman whose hair she had taken. But Chioma was not the same. Her eyes glowed with an underworldly light, and her form shimmered like a being from another realm. You think you have broken the curse? Chioma's voice echoed, sharp and cold. You think you have won? The golden angels will always find you. As Chioma's word hung in the air, the temperature in the room dropped. The weight of the curse was far from over. What do you think that is going to happen? Will Lady Gold win this war? Watch and wait for part 2.